So, you've decided to play the saxophone. Well, the saxophone comes in its own dedicated case and it's nice and snug and warm in there, but it's very important that when you take it out, that you take it out in the correct manner. Now, if you take it out using the keys, you can bend them, put the whole thing out of adjustment, and then your first lesson means that it won't work. So, all you have to do is pick the saxophone up by the bell and the end, and just bring it out like this. Now the instrument is out of the case, we have to assemble it. Now, this is the main body of the saxophone, and this is the crook. To assemble, take out the end stop. Now, this is just a piece of plastic tubing, but it's absolutely vital that when you finish playing, you put it back in again. The reason for this is that it protects this lever. This is the octave lever, and if this gets bent, it can stop the instrument working. The next thing to remember is that to fit the crook into the instrument, we have to insert this tenon into this socket. It's very important that it's kept clean. So all you have to do is use some paper kitchen towel, wipe out the inside and wipe the tenon. Once a week at the very least, I would suggest, because you do get a little bit of water forming on here, which can then mix with little bits of dirt and it can make it very difficult to put together. Now then, what you must not do is to put your hand on here and press down, because we can bend this tube and then again, instrument won't work. Okay, so very important you place your hand over here like this, so we're pressing downwards. So taking it apart and putting it together, you're always pressing downwards. And then we do up the wing nut, making sure that the vertical lever is in the middle of this bow. Now, some instruments will actually not have this shape of key. Sometimes the key will come around and then around the bottom like this. So it works in the same way, just slightly different design. But at the end of the day, you've got to have the vertical lever in the middle. The next thing to remember is that when you're putting the mouthpiece on, that you don't press down. Again, this can strain this tube here. So it's very important when you're putting the mouthpiece on, you hold with your right hand around here and press towards your right hand with your left hand. So there's no downward pressure, just pushing this way horizontally. Now, the mouthpiece is the engine of the instrument, and it's very important that we keep it clean because this is going to be going into your mouth. So, just with some cotton buds, now and again clean out the inside of the mouthpiece, and just with a piece of damp cloth, just clean the outside. Okay. Now, the mouthpiece has a flat table which the reed fits on, and the reed has a flat part to it which fits on the table like so. Now you want the tip of the reed to be just level with the tip of the mouthpiece. And then we put the clamp or ligature on. Now the ligature will only fit on one way. It won't go on this way because of the shape. It will only go on this way. Okay, like that. And then we can do up these wing nuts and the reed is then on the mouthpiece. Once you've finished playing, you would have put quite a lot of moisture down inside of the instrument, so it's very important to remove this. Now the way to do this is first of all to remove the crook, like so. And then we have a saxophone pull through. Now this is just a piece of chamois leather. You can use anything really, but chamois leather is nice and absorbent, and also a brush. Now the reason for using the brush is that a saxophone is a conical instrument, so it's much narrower at this end than at this end. But we need the cloth to be able to absorb all the water through the whole length of the instrument. So we place the weighted string down the bell, down the widest end, and gradually shake it around and down through. Now this may take a bit of practice, but gradually you'll get quicker at it. Now what you mustn't do is pull too fast. Pull slowly, because you want the moisture to be absorbed by the cloth. Okay? Right. Once you've done that, lay the saxophone down on the table and put the plastic end plug back into the instrument. Now what you must never do is to use this pull through in the crook, because it's far too big and it will get stuck. After a while you may find that it's difficult to put the mouthpiece on. All you have to do is, first of all, remove any dirt that may have accumulated on the cork. So just wipe this off with paper kitchen towel, like this, and you get a little bit of dirt coming off. Then renew the grease. After you've done that, the mouthpiece will then slide on. It's very important that the mouthpiece is allowed to go as far on as is necessary. If the mouthpiece only goes on halfway, it may affect some of the notes lower down the instrument. As you get better on the instrument, you will need to use more notes. Now, some of these notes may not come out properly, and there are reasons for this. One of the notes that you may have difficulty with is G sharp and bottom C sharp. Now, the reason for this is that the key gets stuck down. This is because the moisture that is inside the instrument can get absorbed by the leather of the pad. Now, this is the G sharp pad. Okay? Now then, what we have to do is remove the moisture from that pad. So what we do is you cut a piece of A4 paper, just ordinary computer paper, and place it between the pad and the hole in the instrument. That's called the tone hole. So we place this between the two. Okay, hopefully you can see that's okay. And just press this down a little bit firmly. Pull this out very gently, very slowly. Okay, and what that will do is absorb any water that's on the pad, and also maybe a little bit of grease, a little bit of dirt that may have accumulated there. Now, the same thing happens with the C sharp pad, this one down here as well. The reason for this is because these two keys, the C sharp and the G sharp, are all connected to this array of keys here. Now, this is called a floating plate. This is very important to know this, because if I open up this key, the C sharp, it also opens up, can you see that? The G sharp key. So, to stop the keys and the pads getting stuck, all you have to do is to cut a piece of card, a reasonably thick piece of card, about the size of a credit card or a store card, and place it underneath the C sharp pad. That will then allow the air to circulate between the pad and the tone hole, and also open up the G sharp key very slightly. I don't know whether you can see this very well. The C sharp key as well is moving very slightly now, and again the air can circulate, drying it all out. So all you have to do is, when you come to play next time, take out that piece of card, and then your keys will be nice and clean.